Thank you. Still learning how to use these microphones. Now, for those that may not know me, my name is Father Xavy. I am the new and current Vocations Director for the Diocese of St. Petersburg, and a blessing to be here with you all. We went from one of the tallest priests in the diocese to one of the shortest, but it's been quite a blessing nonetheless. And to be here with you all today, and a former vocation director of mine, Father Len, who brought me into the seminary as well. We hear in this gospel today, this beautiful line, will he not help us? Will he not assist us? It's a beautiful and strong and important line, because in this moment, what he is saying, what the Lord is preaching, what he is speaking about, is God the Father's love for each and every one of us, and his desire to help us in our journey. It's interesting that he uses this parable of the dishonest judge, which, it's like, why would you compare God the Father to a dishonest judge? There's no, it's kind of a weird comparison, but it's very emphatic. In fact, it's following a stream of parables in Luke that all point towards this reality, the extremities that God will go to in order to save us and to give us what we need. To the point that it leads to, of course, his crucifixion, his death and resurrection. God the Father's love is so awesome and extreme. Will he not assist us? Will he not give us what we need? In November of 2008, I had my own plans. I was definitely not necessarily listening to the Lord. And my plans were not bad, but by the standards of the world is really what it was pushing. It was to continue my studies. I was at USF at the time, studying. At first it was mechanical engineering, and then I shifted towards aeronautical and aerospace. And to make a lot of money was my focus. That was what I desired. That's what I wanted. I was like, I'm going to have wife, kids, I'm going to make a lot of money, this and that, because that's what the world pushes, to find and achieve happiness, which we know that that's not the case. It can make things more comfortable, but it can never fulfill you. However, I was very much following the way of the world in that. And in that November of 2008, everything changed for me. I did a retreat that would change my life, the course of my life at that moment, where in front of the Blessed Sacrament, as I knelt before the Lord, as I looked upon him, I asked a question that I was afraid to ask, afraid to follow through with. And it was a simple question. Lord, what do you want from me? Lord, what is it that you desire from me? In that moment, for the first time in a long time, I opened my heart to listen to him and see what is it that he desired. I knew what I wanted. I had my plans ready and set to go. I was already applying for an internship with NASA. I was doing all these things. But I opened my heart and said, Lord, what do you want from me? And in that prayer, before our Lord in the Blessed Sacrament, I remember receiving this, for lack of a better word, like a vision of me walking with him. And in this prayer, I just remember it was him. I couldn't see his face, but I was walking with him in the beach. Very much pointing towards like the thought of what happened in the Sea of Galilee, as he called out to his disciples and his apostles. And as I walked with him, at the end of that prayer, I remember he sat me down upon a rock. And in that moment, he just leans towards me. He says only one word. And all he says is, yes. That was it. It was such a powerful moment, such a strong encounter, that I audibly heard a whisper yes, to which I kind of freaked out at first, because I'm like, which dude is whispering yes in my ear right now? And like, I opened my eyes, like looking around, like who's around me? And there was nobody. It was just me and the Blessed Sacrament. Everybody had already left in that moment. And I knew what he was inviting me to. I knew that in that moment he was saying, will you follow? Will you take the next step? I couldn't run. I couldn't run anymore. And so I decided to take this step and begin my application towards seminary. I first called Father Len at that point, and I set up my time to visit the seminary, the minor seminary at that time. I loved it. I went with other guys that were also feeling that similar call. And from then on, I began that process of application. But I had to let go of fear. I had to remember what we hear in today's gospel. Will he not assist us? Will he not help his chosen ones? He's a good father. If he calls me to it, he will assist. He will provide. He will give me what I need. And I have to trust. For any men and women out there feeling a call, a pull towards that call of religious life or priesthood, be not afraid. It's an awesome call. It's an amazing call. And I say awesome with the true sense of that word, awe. It brings you awe because the ways that the Lord speaks to us and leads us. I've gotten to experience things I never thought I would, bringing other people closer to Christ. Whether it be going to the jails to help out different people, the nursing homes, to be a presence of Christ in schools, to be present to all many families, and to help them in their journey of faith. It's a fulfilling call. Be not afraid. Be not afraid to say yes to the Lord. Know that he will assist. He will provide. And he did so always. In the first reading of today, we see how Moses is out there assisting, praying, interceding for the people of Israel with his arms outstretched, praying over them as they face the Amalekites. The people of Israel were terrified. I mean, the fact is they had to fight this fight and win. Otherwise, they would be wiped out. And in that moment, Moses, like a banner, I don't know if you may know this or not, but in war times, you would always bring a banner representing either your country, your nation in that sense, or even a deity that's backing you up, representing you. And Moses becomes, in that sense, that banner, representing the people of Israel as he intercedes. And it's, as we hear in the Psalm of today, the Lord is my banner. It's pretty connected. It's a beautiful connection there made in the scriptures, showing how God intercedes for his people. It's really him coming. It's not just this person that he sends. It's God being made present to us. God calling his people to follow him and to trust in him. And as Moses had his arms extended, they would win. They came to victory. But it goes into the second point that victory requires community and help and support. And here we see how in the story of Exodus, Aaron and Hur come forward and they bring this rock for him to sit on, and then what they do, they prop his arms up. Because they realize the moment his arms start going down, I don't know if you've ever done that exercise before, of having your arms extended out, it's pretty intense after a couple of seconds. He is just struggling. His arms are just falling. And he has his brother Aaron and Hur come up forward and help him. Parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, godparents. You have an important role in the vocation of your children. You have an essential role. and supporting them wherever the Lord may be calling them to. Because many of those that are called really need that help and support from their family members and their friends to take the next step, to not be afraid. As Aaron and Hur supported them, we are called to support these men and women who desire to give their life to the Lord. And it's essential. In that same time period where I was applying for seminary, I remember I told my parents about my application process. So I started that application process, and I told my mom and dad that I'm planning to go into seminary. And so in that moment, my parents experienced really two things. One was joy and excitement, because they always saw it in me. They saw that sign of, like, I think he may be called to be a priest. But at the same time, they also had the other feeling of fear. The questions start coming up. Is he going to be okay? Are they going to provide for him when he grows old? How is he going to be taken care of? This and that. All of a sudden, all these worries come up naturally. And so they had to fight that fear and surrender it to the Lord. And in my process of transition from USF to entering the seminary, I received, not too long after I started that application process in the seminary, a letter from NASA saying that, and I received those on email at the same time, which said congratulations. So I already knew what was coming with that. And my mom received that letter at their house saying that I was accepted for that internship for NASA. My dream job at that point. I was like, oh man, I can get this experience, I can continue on if need be. No coincidence that it comes right after I start application for seminary either. And as my mom receives it, she gives me a call. And quickly she's just saying, she's excited about it. But then she says, what are you going to do? And then she makes this suggestion, which I know where it's coming from. It's a desire for my good and to help me. It was, why don't you do the internship and finish your classes, finish the degree, and then you go into seminary. So you have like a backup plan in that sense. It was understandable why she offered to do that, right? Why she suggested it. It's reasonable, but it was a suggestion done in fear. It was completely done in fear. And she realized it. And she told me about it afterwards. She realized it was just a moment where I was afraid, I was worried. It was just an ounce of doubt in there. And that's what the evil one likes to use. Any doubt that's in there against us. And in that moment, I don't remember this. My mom reminded me about this, that I actually said these words. And I qualify that because I thought it was a little bit harsh when they said them. But I apparently responded with, Mom, stop being a stumbling block for me. Which are tough words. And she received them, I would say, like Mary to me. I remember she received them quietly and took them into her heart. And then she did as I asked her, which was tear the letter up and toss it in the trash. I don't want to look at it. I don't want it to be a source of temptation for me to stop this process. Totally by the grace of God. And in that moment, she did exactly that. She grabbed the letter, she ripped it in half, tossed it in the trash. And her prayer after that was beautiful and was powerful. All she said was, Lord, he is yours. Lord, he is yours. She surrendered it. She realized that the plan that God had for me was far greater than I could imagine, that she could imagine, that anybody in my family could imagine. She recognized that God wants greater things for me. And so she said, Lord, I surrender it to you. In that moment, she was able to say, my mom and my dad both, really, will the Lord not assist us? Of course he will. He assists his chosen ones. And so I encourage you, parents, to encourage your children to follow through with the call if they feel that tug, to not be afraid. For the Lord is a good Father. He desires great things for your children, far greater than you can imagine. Continue to surrender and to pray for them. And I ask you for your continual prayers, and I thank you for the prayers that you have already provided. We have 25 young men in the seminary right now, by the grace of the Lord and his calling, who are striving, 5 of which are from here, Christ the King. Alex Fleming, Lon Brinkman, Christopher Busser, Tyler and Dakota Gates. Tremendous men. I ask for your prayers for them and to pray for your families to continue to strive in that call that the Lord may have for you. A call to holiness, ultimately. And for some set apart, the priesthood and religious life. There's a great opportunity this coming week, 40 hours devotion, which is a good way to continue to pray for them. I encourage you to go and pray for your children, your family members, your friends, to pray for an increase of vocations, and just to pray for that continual blessing upon your family. That the Lord may not just bless you for this world, but to bless you for all eternity, right? And to establish that deeper connection with the Lord. It's a great way to assist and to continue to pray for vocations. And again, I thank you for your prayers, and I ask for prayers for me as I continue this journey, helping these young men to continue in their path to follow the Lord. For again, the Lord always provides, and he is good. Will he not assist us? Will he not help his chosen ones? The answer is, of course he will. For God is a good and loving Father.